Dear students, our today's lesson is about classification of living things, so let's zoom in. Biological classification is a system scientists use to sort all living things into groups based on their similarities. There are millions of species of organisms on Earth. A species is defined as a group of organisms that can reproduce to produce fertile offspring. These species can be classified into groups by the features that they share. For example, all mammals have bodies covered in hair, feed young from mammary glands, and have external ears or pinnas. Binomial system, where scientific name of organism is made up of two parts, starting with the genus, which always given a capital letter, and followed by the species starting with a lowercase letter. When typed, binomial names are always in italics, which indicates they are Latin. For example, Homo sapien. The sequence of classification is kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, T. His scientific name of the tiger is presented as Panthera tigris. Panthera represents the genus and tigris represents a particular species. The identification of biological organisms can be greatly simplified using tools such as dichotomous keys. It is a written set of choices, each involving statements, that leads to the name of an organism. Scientists use these to identify unknown organisms. The keys are mutually exclusive characteristics of biological organisms. They often begin with general characteristics and lead to more specific characteristics. You simply compare the characteristics of an unknown organism against an appropriate dichotomous key. If the organism falls into one category, you go to the next indicated couplet. 5 kingdoms are Plantae, Animalia, Fungi, Protista, Prokaryotes. Most organisms in the plant kingdom can make their own food using sunlight. Some of its members include conifers, mosses, ferns, and flowering plants. Animals have specialized tissues and muscles used to perform complex functions. Most organisms in this kingdom can move around and eat other organisms for energy. Organisms of fungi kingdom get their food by breaking down matter around them. Their cell walls are made of chitin, unlike the cellulose in a plant cell wall. Yeast is a unicellular fungus. A mushroom or toadstool is the fleshy, spore-bearing fruiting body of a fungus, typically produced above ground, on soil, or on its food source. Fungi do not photosynthesize, but feed by saprophytic means on dead or decaying material, or parasitic means on live material. A mass of hyphae make up the body of a fungus, which is called a mycelium plural, mycelia. The hyphae of most fungi are divided into cells by internal walls called septa. Characteristics common to all protoctists, for example, amoeba, are unicellular, but some are multicellular or have a nucleus. Some may have cell walls and chloroplasts. Some get their nutrition by making their own food through photosynthesis, and some get their nutrition by eating other living things. Main features of all prokaryotes, often unicellular cells, have cell walls which is not made of cellulose and cytoplasm, but no nucleus or mitochondria. Viruses are not part of any classification system as they are not considered living things. They do not carry out the 7 life processes for themselves. Instead, they take over a host cell's metabolic pathways in order to make multiple copies of themselves. Virus structure is simply genetic material, RNA or DNA, a protein coat. Some viruses contain an outer envelope as shown in the image below. As a result, they can only replicate inside living cells.